Also, tons of other sea life gets killed in fishing nets as bycatch. So, would you take that position with any other injustice? Racism, sexism, child abuse? Is the answer to do it less or not at all? Did you know fish are pulled out of the water and suffocate as their gills collapse? It can take up to 10 minutes or even more before they die. When they're dragged out from deep in the ocean, their eyes bulge and their stomachs turn inside out from the change in pressure. They just don't have the vocal cords to scream. 300,000 dolphins, whales, and porpoises are killed every year as bycatch. So if people are willing to support the killing of dolphins as bycatch, then why wouldn't they just eat them? Bottom trawlers are enormous bag-shaped nets that drag along the ocean floor, scooping up everything in their path. They kill tons of animals that are on the floor that they aren't trying to catch. So if you think you're paying for one animal to be killed, they're getting everything. 50 million sharks are killed by fishing, unintentionally caught in fishing lines and nets each year. However, it's estimated that 100 million sharks are killed by the commercial fishing industry each year for their flesh and fins. Fishing kills around 11,000 sharks each hour. Why are pregnant women and women thinking about becoming pregnant advised not to eat fish? Think about it. Fish contains dioxins, arsenic, mercury, and PCBs, also saturated fat and cholesterol. Fish are animals. They're sentient beings that have brains and central nervous systems. The fishing industry is by far the most destructive industry in our oceans. Fishing has wiped out 90% of large fish. Fish have different physiology than us, so it would be silly to assume that their cognitive and emotional abilities would be identical to ours. But just because fish cannot express themselves in a way we understand doesn't mean that they don't feel pain and suffer. Fish have brains, a central nervous system, and nerve endings. Fish can remember, they can learn, they can solve problems. Fish are able to recognize other members of their own species, allowing them to form social groups and work together to avoid predators. And fish are able to recognize their family members by the way they swim and move, or by a unique smell. For people to catch their own fish, catch and release causes severe injuries to fish's mouths and leads to sheer exhaustion from trying to escape. The animals are usually unable to eat and die from starvation and bleeding. Being handled by humans causes damage to the layer of mucus on the fish's skin, which protects them from bacterial and viral infections. So if you're catching a fish and throwing them back, there's a very, very good chance the fish is going to die. Now, a lot of fish that are farmed unnaturally in aquaculture. Fish ponds actually increase the number of fish cards because the farm carnivorous species require large inputs of wild fish for feed. Aquaculture systems also modify and destroy wild fish habitat, pollute water with waste disposal, introduce exotic species, and are a breeding ground for pathogens and pests. Salmon in fish farms have a dirty colored white flesh, so they put dye in the food pellets to make it pink, so it's not even real. Wild salmon actually get pink from eating krill and fish. In aquaculture, diseases and parasites spread quickly in tanks. Please Google it, just YouTube it, it's gross. They're frozen alive, suffocated in dissolved carbon dioxide, electrocuted, or have their gills slit. Let's talk about sharks. Sharks mature slowly. They have slow reproductive rates and produce few offspring, which makes them extremely vulnerable to extinction. Did you know that over a quarter of all known shark species are considered endangered or threatened? Since they're often apex predators, sharks disappearing is causing dangerous imbalances in the ocean. Many sharks are the victims of finning, where their fins are cut off and their bodies are discarded in the ocean. Sharks have survived several mass extinctions and are older than dinosaurs and trees. For anyone that says specific animals in the ocean don't have a central nervous system, oysters, mussels, clams, and scallops all have nerve ganglia. These are the precursors of a central nervous system. There's not sufficient evidence they do or do not feel pain, so it's better to act on the side of caution, and we don't need to eat them, so why would we?
That's right.
For the environment, oceans cover 71% of our Earth's surface. 71. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is huge. Over 600,000 square miles of garbage where there's an extremely high concentration of plastic waste. Depletion of marine life is from overfishing, ocean dead zones, pollution, and habitat destruction. This is rarely or never discussed by groups dedicated to protecting the ocean, such as Oceana, Surfrider Foundation, Greenpeace, and the Sierra Club Foundation. There is no way to fish sustainably. There is no way to fish sustainably. We could see fishless oceans by 2048. Animal agriculture is the leading cause of ocean dead zones. For health, American doctors receive an average of 11 to 20 hours of nutritional training in medical schools. Only a quarter of medical schools even require a single course on nutrition. Look it up. It is all over the internet. It's pretty terrible. Some fish have omegas because they've eaten algae or seaweed or consumed other fish that have eaten it. Switch a fish oil supplement with algae oil one instead for omega-3 fatty acids. So we can save our ocean by shifting to a plant-based diet. It's very easy. There are substitutes for everything. There is no excuse to steal these innocent animals from their homes and murder them. And we can also end all fishing subsidies. $35 billion in taxpayer funding goes to this worldwide. Please look it up. $35 billion. That's pretty crazy. So please stop supporting this disgusting industry.